Hey, everybody. It is I, Hope Giselle, and I am back with another episode of Can We Talk? And this one is a special release, y'all. This one is a little different. This one is a precursor to some stuff that we got cooking up. And I don't want to hold y'all for too long. I just want to go ahead and introduce my guest, my brother, my friend, fam, Mr. Consciously. I had to have him on the show because why not? What's going on? What's good?
What up, sis? Nothing much, Education is elevation. Same old, same old.
All of the things, all of the things. So, jumping right into all of this, it has been a crazy last 2 weeks. Like a good 2 weeks. It has just been thing after thing after thing. And at this point, I just felt like I needed to discuss it. You and I have been talking about collaborating on some stuff for a hot minute. We're gonna let y'all know what that is at the end of the episode. So if you want to know what it is that we've been cooking up, y'all gotta listen all the way to the end, or you can fast forward because it's a podcast, but whatever, But at the end of the day, we got some stuff cooking up, and we wanted to come together to just talk about and address all of the foolishness. If you have been on either one of our platforms, then you already know that we have similar views on a lot of different things, but they come from two different perspectives, two different life understandings. I'm a Black trans woman. Lee is a cishet Black man who is married and got children. I ain't got all of that. So I mean, there are two very different lifestyles, two very different people, who can still come together under similar mindsets and agree to disagree in some spaces and agree in other spaces. So we just want to come and show y'all solidarity. Up first on the docket, and I hate to use my good auntie's lingo and language, but shout out to Jess Madison and her show. Peep me on there on Thursday. Kimmy.
I make sure we tuning in, huh? Hey, I'm making sure we tuning in. Shout out to T.S. Madison, man.
That's the homie.
That's
Look,
the
yeah,
OG.
Patty all day. But this super straight foolishness. Why? Why?
To be honest with you, I think it's when pseudo intellectual stuff just start going off the rails. You feel me? It's like on the surface level, my fellow, I'm saying, cis het people like, well, shit, y'all say that doing this is a preference. I mean, doing this is your identity and it should be respected. And as a result, well, we want to be respected for saying we don't want to be with trans women. You feel me? And I just see it as a cool little way to try to justify from a pseudo ethical position of being transphobic, or just being able to say like, hey, I'm super straight. Because in my mind, the heterosexual concept is already centered around excluding trans identities. It's like literally a straight man, you feel me, quote unquote, wanting to be with a trans woman, your straightness is already called into question. So in my opinion, it's just like, hey, you just being intellectually lazy, and y'all really just don't want to have a real ass conversation. Instead, you want to create a new identity to say, I want to insulate myself from all of those criticisms of you being able to say I'm being a piece of shit human being. I don't want you to call me that. I'm super straight. And if you say I gotta respect yo, this, that, and the other, you gotta respect mine. I just think like it's just heteronormativity lost in the sauce of it.
I mean, to me, the whole thing is bullshit. Like when you really break it down, like I feel like a lot of it is also acknowledgement. Like when you really think about the shit, you're also acknowledging in your ignorance, in your negativity, you're acknowledging that trans women are women, right? And so at this point, what you're trying to say is that these particular women do not fall into that. And so since I don't want to be called negative because I know that it is inherently negative, give me another title.
But it's so fake though, because it's saying that because the movement started on TikTok. I'm always on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
They say that super straight means that you are only attracted to women that have XX chromosomes. So me being the petty dude I am, it's like, well, shit. If your trans radar going off, why do you feel like trans women have to disclose to you they trans? If you only attracted to a particular type of woman, why does this woman have to come out and tell you this? I
If you
thought your trans.
But see, that's the thing though. It also goes back into that cis normative, that cis negativity bullshit. Because if you can clock it, if trans women are so clockable, if they are, if it's such a difference between trans women and cis women, and if everybody just got it like that, then why do girls need to disclose? Why disclose what should be obvious as it pertains to y'all is obvious.
Because it literally says super straight means I am only attracted to the opposite sex that was born with particular chromosomes. If those chromosomes are marked onto one's forehead, I don't know why you have to have somebody that.
Why?
It's, to me, that's what I mean, and that's what I mean by being lost in the sauce of heteronormativity. It's usually gonna come with a whole bunch of contradictions and ways that it's able to expose the inconsistencies.
Yeah,
Because
because
it's
there's
inconsistent.
always inconsistency, but that's because the inconsistencies are born of ignorance, right? It's what we're taught to think as a certain group of people from our parents, from society,
Agreed.
on our gender, based on our own sex and the color of our skin, right? The reason why you find that there are more Black women that are upset about the transness than you do have white women out here, that are doing the utmost, is because Black women are already taught that we are undervalued, that our words don't matter, that our womanhood doesn't matter. And so here it is, you have men pretending to be. And so we have to come for that because our womanhood is already seen as less than. So if we got to compete with y'all, what does that do, right? Or at least that's
And we
what
get that. I get that too. I get that as well. I get the paranoia and the psyche. I get the orientation of being like, my womanhood is always already being negotiated. And now because this thing right here makes me feel like now my womanhood is even more negotiated because people can just opt in. And I'm just looking at it like this is a bad way of understanding sex and gender. Because I think what's also not being, you feel me, unpacked is that when you say you super straight, you're correlating sex and gender. And it's just like when you tell it's straightforward, right? It's like when a person says to a man, you're acting like a bitch, you're talking about performance in terms of gender. So you're acknowledging there's a particular way to perform what it means to be a man or a woman. What does that mean when you say this chromosome shit, though? It's like when you tell Buddy he acting like a bitch, is you saying he got XX chromosomes? No, you're not.
You're not.
So so to me, it's inconsistencies.
There's a behavior, and my thing is, it's okay when the behavior is acting alone, but when the behavior comes with a particular aesthetic, that's when the problem is. That's when we have an issue. And I think that a lot of the issue is that there's a policing around the ways in which people can explore sexuality, and especially within communities of color, right? White people don't have the issues that we have around sexuality and gender because white people are not being policed into this idea of what manhood and what womanhood looks like, right? And that also goes into the conversation of white supremacy and the ways in which white people don't have to question what manhood looks like because they get to be the standard, right, as it pertains to American understanding. But when you come into communities of color, you have Black men that are being tone policed into this idea that if I am not a thug or ridiculously successful, then I am not. And if I don't own, or if I don't hold on my masculinity as a badge of honor, despite the idea that it doesn't have to be toxic, then I'm not a man. And then you also have women of color who are forced into this space to be made to feel like they are less of women if they also affirm that these women over here are just like that or similar, right? And that's that bullshit that I think we have to dismantle, but we're not going to be able to do that when we got shit like super straight popping up.
Yeah, and that's the conditioning of it, though, is that me as a cisgender heterosexual person, because I have such a passion, I feel like for I don't want to say standing up for it, but I feel like if it's something going down, and I think it's unethical or immoral, then it's like, nah, I ain't rocking with it. But I recognize because I'm an advocate the way I am for the LGBT community, people to me start to get into like some elementary high school shit where it's like, well, because of what he's doing, making me uncomfortable, I'm going to call into question his sexuality and his identity. It's like, hey, I'm comfortable in the skin I'm in. You know what I'm saying? I ain't worried about you talking about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. You feel me? Because but I see that's how we get pushed away, though. Is that I'm not going to be an advocate for this community because I don't want nobody to think that I'm gay or think that I want to be with X, Y, and Z. Is that you're buying into the pathology. I don't buy into that pathology, so people have a hard time dealing with me. You're not finna use some elementary ass insults to be like, hey, consciously, you must be gay. You must like trans women. It's like all these different tropes. It's like I'm a grown ass man. I think that's just kid stuff to me. I know it's not very articulated, but it's just simple. It's just like that's some little boy shit. That's what my students do.
It doesn't always have to be learned. And I think that that's the thing that people, like when we talk about making things plain, right? It's this idea of being able to have a real conversation about shit, and it doesn't always come out in this academic way. I'm grown as fuck. And I think that one of the arguments that I always make is that I see so many grown ass Black men out here claiming that I'm a real nigga, I'm a real man, I'm an X, Y, and Z, this, that, and the third. But you fold under the pressure of the possibility that somebody might not like the person that you want to have sex with. That's your business. You know what I'm saying? And I think like when you think about what it means to truly be secure, when you think about what it means to truly be a grown ass man, to be a man of your word, to stand on it, it means that Not or you are going to be able to tell me how the fuck I'm going to run this over here, because not you can turn my lights on, make my car go. Like, none of y'all have control over what happens in this particular space. And so your opinion means absolutely nothing to me. And especially when it comes down to who I'm going to spend my life with, I'll be damned. But there are not a lot of men who are serving it up like consciously.
Like homoeroticism.
Right.
It's homoeroticism. You say that you straight and you do all this, but you have a very intimate symbolism that you attach to these all same gender spaces. You feel me? It's like, it's just like, it's you. It's homoeroticism though. It's not saying that you're homosexual. It's saying that you have a particular orientation towards same-sex spaces and places that you have type of you think they sacred. You feel me? So it's like, nah, it's only the boys. Not only the boys can come out. Only the homies. It's only, you feel me? To me, those type of things always kind of pose a contradiction to me.
I've never understood the need to exclude women from spaces when you are so heterosexual and you have this need and this lust for women all the time, right? Especially amongst the men who are like, I love pussy, women and bitches, women and bitches, women and bitches. But every time I see you, you with the fellas, you with the boys, you hang with.
But repeating Future, he said, I tell the truth to my nigga, I lie to my bitch. So there's already, to me, a hierarchy where you have more loyalty and you have more, you feel me, expectation for being able to protect your homie than you do your gal. You know what I'm saying? Your woman. You feel me? That, to me, that's weird. Like,
but there's an ownership component that says something about the ways in which we covet the things that matter the most to us, right? And so the relationship between men and each other and the validity of what a man's opinion means to another man says more than what a man's opinion means to a woman, which honestly should be the opposite way around if you're this heterosexual person that values women so much. Oh, okay.
This the word simping gets thrown my way a lot, right? And the concept is said that because you talk about women's rights and LGBTQ rights the way that you do, you're simping, trying to, you know what I'm saying, basically get appeal or get some pussy from somebody, or trying to get some ass from somebody. To me, the contradiction is, so hold on, you using this uber hyper masculine heteronormative understanding to look at my content, but you make content as a dude trying to appeal to other dudes. So if you make content talking and shit about women and you're doing it for the likes and comments and views from other dudes, but I'm the one that's suspect and simping. And again, don't get this wrong. The people that LGBT, my fellow gay men, you feel me? I'm not trying to gay bash or anything like that. I'm just pointing out a contradiction that says that there are certain men that says that if you are a man and you make content for women or LGBTQ, you are a simp and you sus. I don't get how that logic is suspended if your whole social media presence is predicated off of devaluing, dehumanizing women for the likeness of dudes. They go to Kevin Samuel. They go to all of them. All the manosphere dudes. It's like, lit peep gang. You feel me? You get intimidated by a dude like me, but you doing shit for the attention of other dudes. But you said it.
So, okay, because that was a perfect segue. That was a perfect segue into like the next topic when we talk about folks like Derek Jackson, right? Who recently got exposed for all of that shit. I want to tie them in and then also move into that conversation, right? When we talk about people saying like, oh, Derek has been a simp for years. He's X, Y, and Z. That nigga suspect, da, 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 da. The one thing that I never doubted about Derek Jackson was the fact that he loved women. And Derek Jackson gonna say whatever the fuck he need to say to get some pussy and to have women in his inbox. Do you hear me? Derek Jackson didn't give a fuck that for all of those years when y'all was talking shit about him and saying that he was sus and saying he probably don't even like women and da. Derek knew the type of content that women needed to see in order to keep women at an abundance. Whereas a lot of y'all do the complete opposite, have a bunch of niggas in your comments and in your inbox, right? Because now they feel like you're sus because you talk so much shit about women that there's no way that you can like women, right? So now
no way.
There's this adverse kind of sort of reaction to what y'all are doing, but y'all are talking shit about the person that's doing what needs to be done to keep women in his inbox, right? No matter how fucked up it was.
Yeah, but to me, it's just like, to me, I see the uniqueness, or I see the link between Jackson and Samuels being like respectability politics and making it where all of your content is push through this masculine feminine paradigm. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's just like, fam, what the hell does it mean for you as a man to give relationship to advice to women as if women are the reason why relationships ain't working? I'm a married man. I've been married for 6 years. Me and my wife have been together since I was 17. You know what I'm saying? I know most of the time we have issues because I'm not communicating, because I'm not doing it. But to me, it makes more sense for you to make content. If you such a guru and you understand how women think, you should be telling that to dudes. Hey, my nigga, this how you treat women better. This how you, instead you do, it's like you preach to the choir. To me, because both of them do it from respectability politics, it turned me off. It's just like, I don't like respectability politics like that because he's always weaponized against me.
It's respectability politics preached into an echo chamber of niggas who don't want to do any better, right? It's this idea of fishing in a sea full of motherfuckers that want to get caught, right? It's this idea of making sure that when I throw my net out there every single time, I'm gonna hook, line, and sinker it, because this is what niggas need to hear to make themselves feel better. Because when they hear it from women, you have to hold yourself accountable. So women telling you what's happening in relationships makes you look at, have conversations with, and discuss your problematic behavior. But when these men come at it from this standpoint of, women, y'all have to do this. Women, y'all ain't ready for this. Women, what y'all don't understand about when
that's
we
Kevin Samuel. That's all his content. It's like, you're not a high quality woman. When it's a video I'm making today. It's gonna come out today, probably. This man told this woman, asked her, how tall are you? Woman said, you 5'5". She said she's like 5'5", 5'4" or something. Kevin asked her how much she weigh. I'm thinking like, fam, you a grown ass man in your 40s asking a grown ass woman how much she weigh, and then he made it a joke. Said, you built like a linebacker. You say you built like a running back. You could be hitting A gaps and B gaps, and it's like, told her how he's 6'4". I'm 6'4" and I weigh 250. I weigh 2 this. You weigh more than. He was like, fam, this is. I wouldn't even expect my high school students, males, to do this, because they understand how despicable what you're doing, and what you're doing is just like, you got to play. And all you do it is like, you do it from a very elegant, rhetorical position where you use your nice suit, you use your soft-spoken, elegant way to be able to say something and be persuasive with it. It's like if I cuss you out and call you out your name and call you bitches and hoes, and I said it nicely. Hope, to be a high-quality woman, you have to stop being a bitch. And I don't mean it in a bad way, bitch, but listen, bitch, in order for you to catch you a good man, you got to stop being a bitch. And that's the reason why you can't get a good man, because you a bitch. It's not, and it's just like, so what are women at that's chasing you? Where your woman at? Where your woman at? Where your expertise of experience for you to give you this position to be able to make these claims? Do you have a woman? You don't? How you know all this?
And that's the thing that really irks me, because when I look at his page, I see a very homosexual looking man. To be
I ain't gonna cap. I thought it was bisexual. I thought he was like,
I thought it was giving,
but I ain't gonna guess his sexuality. Whatever, ain't none of my business. But definitely was giving some vibes. Like,
it was giving vibes. And so that was one of those things where I'm like, how? So if we want to really break down people's appearances to tell them about the possibility or the likelihood of them being in a relationship, you're more likely to attract gay men on the down low than you are to attract women with the way that you look and the way that you present yourself, right?
And that's the truth, and that's the fact. And that's pretty much, that's the point. Actually, like, that's the point. You're making content for the attraction of a high quality woman, and you don't recognize what you putting out, the bait you putting out is probably not gonna catch the fish you trying to say you kind of trying to catch. And that's the reason why it's like, fam, this is.
We don't know that. We don't know that. He might be catching exactly the fish that he wants to catch. We don't know that.
True. Let me stop trying to, psychoanalyze shit I don't know.
Allegedly. Okay.
We don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know. And I'm cool with not knowing too. That ain't none of my business. But I do think it's wild when you have 500,000 followers and you are making content. And to me, it's like you're taking advantage of vulnerable women that's trying to fill the void. You feel me? And you know it. You know what I'm saying? You know that. I know you know it because of how you coming out. And you just, to me, it's like you're monetizing women's vulnerabilities. Hey, I'm an educator. I make a lot of content about pain and suffering. You feel me? But I'm not making content about pain and suffering to try to get you to come to me and I'm going to give you all the answers and I'm going to tell you, like, nah. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you, don't trust what I'm saying and go back and go look at what I said, because don't.
Research over me search.
I'm going to tell you that all day. Don't take my word for it. Go look it up. You feel me? Right. I could be wrong. I could be, you feel me? Just, you don't do that, though. You don't do that, though. It's just
my opinion and my truth isn't going to always ring true with what you believe, because our experiences are going to be different, right? So while something may be very true for me in this moment, right, because of the way that you've come up, because of your life experience and the way that you deal with things, that might be a lie for you. And if that's the case, then your research is going to be able to determine that. But I'm not going to tell you how to maneuver and how to move through life, right? And I think that what a lot of what Derek was doing, a lot of what this Samuels man does, is like you say, they do pick the most vulnerable people who are kind of sort of at the end of their rope, who feel like, why the fuck not, right? And then they utilize Samuel's on this pedestal of, I look a certain way, I am perceived to have a certain amount of privilege, and so therefore I get to talk to you like this.
On my mama. Real
On
large.
The spectrum, Derek gets to do the, I look a certain way, and because I am well respected by these people, I get to talk to you like that.
And
right?
That's what I mean by respectability politics, the optics and the aesthetics. When I say aesthetics, literally the way he comes off, not only in terms of like in terms of orientation, but literally in terms of dress, looks, diction, language, the backdrop of his thing, looking all clean and elegant. It's like, no, you literally playing with politics and symbols. I'm a philosopher. I know what you're doing, fam. This is literally what Zizek and this is what the white philosophers talk about. You feel me? You're taking, what's the word they use? Semiotics. You feel me? Semiotics. This is what this is. This semiotics, man. I ain't no fool. You feel me? To me, I know when I go to the hood and they look at my degrees and me being able to speak and use words with a few different syllables, I take a different authority. So because I have that authority in that space and place, I'm able to say and do things that make it with other people it's gonna be checked different than how they gonna check me. Samuels know that. He know he got a little degree. You feel me? He got on this. He got on this plaid. You feel me? Dressed look like Farnsworth Bentley. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you playing these games, and you're doing this too. You're marketing this content to Black people. So you're already playing with the magical Negro, good Negro, bad Negro, respectability politics. This is how you see credible and legitimate. You're already playing with that, and then you're gonna tell these what to me is like, what does it mean to tell a Black woman that's getting 6 figures that because she got a kid, she's damaged goods? You a grown man talking like this? How you a Black man in a Black community talking shit about, you feel me, wetlock like this? Not like, to me, it was just like.
But let's talk. But my thing is, let's talk about the reason why these things are popular, though, right? Because to be a Black man, to tell a Black woman who's making 6 figures that she deserves to be picky and selective with who she lets into her space because of that, wouldn't garner you the same amount of attraction and wouldn't garner you the same amount of respect that you're getting from these no-name ass niggas who don't want nothing out of life and don't want nothing out of a relationship, right? Especially when we talk about that, like, let's say, what if we reverse this, right? The optics that we've already clearly laid out are our assumptions, right? Our allegedly about this man. I'm sure we're not the only 2 people in the world who have thought this. And so if he still brought that same aesthetic, but he was saying the opposite, right? How much support would you really get from these same niggas who don't want to change, who don't want to grow, right? If you were supporting women, right? Because then it wouldn't be, oh, that nigga fresh and he da-da-da-da and he gets these women together. It would be, that nigga look fruity. And he out here gaslighting these women.
He out here simping. He out here tearing niggas down, this, that, and this. It's like, to me, because I understand that power never wants to be acknowledged, never wants to be identified. In my mind, what he's doing is just help mystify masculine power in our community.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't trying to, because to me, the flip side would be whatever his statistics analytics is, I'm willing to bet it's like 70% men. 60% men.
I'm sure.
You are not social. You do social media too, so you know what the analytics look like. We know what our analytics look like. Come on now, come on, man.
I am sure. So when we talk about this, I wanna touch really briefly, especially because you are a married man. What were your thoughts when you saw? Because I'm assuming if you didn't see the whole thing, I'm sure you saw a clip of Derek Jackson and his wife. As a married man who has his own shit, you and your wife got your own shit, I'm sure.
Yeah.
How did you receive that third person pat on the back that he issued that was supposed to be a resemblance of an apology that also featured him still selling his products in the video where he was supposed to apologize?
I mean, I get it mixed up, but it's like it's either a sociopath or a psychopath.
Ooh.
But it's like if you look up the characteristics, I ain't that well versed in the DSM. But damn it, I'm familiar with what a psychopath and or a sociopath is. I can't think of which one it is, but he meets with the criteria. That's what I think. You know what I'm saying? Meet with the criteria. And for me, just me being a married man, I'm looking at it like, man, I don't want to put my wife in no position where I feel like she got to be the butt of a joke. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like, you know, even the whole optics and the aesthetics again of his video. This man did a third person response video to his own video. You feel me? And it's just like, Willie the foo, who you think you getting down on, bro? It's just, to me, it was just like, to me, I thought it was disrespect. To me, it's like whoever Denaya's family is, I'd be willing to bet a lot of money that her family not rocking with him like that. I don't give a damn how many books he sell, how many houses he buy. It's like, nah, fam. Like, nah.
First,
and buy him a book.
I hate that we are like, I really hate that the conversation always bounces back to the way that she looked in the video. But I think that as Black folk, right, before anything, we are about aesthetics. We look at what we want to know what the vibe is. We want to know. And I don't agree with this bullshit that people are saying like, oh, we had never really seen her before. And so sis was supposed to get on there and slay, right? I don't think it necessarily had to be that.
I agree too.
But I do think is this intentional thing because to me, it definitely gives sociopath, but it also gives, I want to appear like it's not about the looks, right? And I think that it backfired. I think that in his mind, the gag was he thought he was gonna pluck us by her being in her natural state. Oh, you ain't got to do all of that. I want them to see that I love my wife beyond da 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 da. But what you did was you forgot that you were Black, right?
And that's the part that you can't forget. This is like,
you can't forget that you're Black because this is not Kathy with a messy bun and a Harvard t-shirt on, right? This is Denaya with her, I just rolled out of bed and a bonnet on. And that's different than the ways that white women are perceived when they just wrap their head up in a bun and show up, because that's become a fashion trend. The messy bun is a thing that bitches wear to the club now, right?
Yeah, I think that he was expecting for, I don't think that him or his team expected for the story to get as big as it did, for it to take the internet over as it did. I thought I feel like he assumed it was gonna be a thing with his loyal followers to decide if they want to rock with him or not, and it became a big thing because I feel like if they would have known that it was gonna be memed and made into many different videos and all this and all that, then you know what I'm saying. I feel like, and that's the part you getting at. It's like, nah, as Black people, you individually, they was too in their own shit and then think about the other stuff, and it was like, nah, you know.
There's still representation that matters in this entire thing, because at the end of the day, you're a public figure. Whether or not we fuck with you or not, it doesn't matter.
And that's the part right there.
And I think the way that we showcase Black women, and especially Black women of a deeper skin tone, we need to always be mindful of that. Yeah. We need to always be mindful of that, because there's always going to be somebody that is going to try to justify the ways in which they treat Black women, especially darker skinned Black women, based off of the way that we show up in the world, right? There's already this understanding that dark skinned Black women are bangy and loud, and all we do is wear bonnets inside Walmart. And then you really put your woman on a platform in exactly that uniform. That uniform has
passive, docile.
Yes.
To me, I've seen it as one of the first interviews I seen of Derrick Jackson was him being on Bontaface's shit. And he was saying how he's a relationship guru, but he ain't like the other people. He don't do it from a religious background. He make it where the Christian and the Jew and the Muslim can understand relationships. But getting the hell in hot water, you know, being from the hood, nigga be gangster, go to jail, and all of a sudden they holy sanctified. In my mind, it's like, bro, you caught. And instead of you being just being real and just do X, Y, and Z, you're now trying to use this shield of Christianity and God's this, that, and the other. And it's like, fam, God didn't tell you to do that, bro. So I'm looking like, I'm a man, I'm married. You feel me? If I do something, that's what I did. You feel me? I can't put it on God and put it over here and my wife ain't gonna respect that. My wife ain't gonna let me talk like that. You feel me? My wife gonna be like, nigga, George, I don't want to be with you. If you not only have you already messed up my trust in my you're now not even wanting to own up to what you did, and you putting it off in other places. I can't do nothing with you. And in my mind, that's what they came down to. Talking about this is my armor of God. But hey, but this is what I will say too, though. I feel like to me, the inner man is just the inner man mixed with my feminist studies is also coming in. And I do think it's weird that when we have smoke with a man, regardless of the race, we always sabotage a woman as if it's just an asset to the man. Because when people get an issue with me, first thing they gonna holler about is talk shit to my wife, about my wife. You feel me? When Republicans had an issue with a Barack Obama, one of the first things they jumped to was talking shit about Michelle Obama. But listen, it ain't just that though. A lot of liberals, the first thing you want to talk about Donald Trump and your issue was Melania Trump. To me, it's too normalized for us to make it where the every time there's war or conflict, women are conditioned to be seen as a conceiver of violence or a conceiver of an assault. You feel me? And to me, that shit is weird. Like, man, you got an issue with consciously, take it up with consciously. Don't bring that person in. To me, it's like it's a whole bunch of people that really had an issue with Derrick Jackson. And I feel like I just kind of linked into it a little bit. And a lot of my criticisms is more about denial, and it's like denial, but it's like, nah, Derrick did that though. And I just think that, misogyny, that's the word I guess I'm looking for here, is so ingrained in us.
Misogyny, patriarchy, misogynoir, male privilege, the lack of understanding of the ways in which Black women are being policed, and the ways in which our image shows up or doesn't show up, right? There is an often used quote, right, by Brother Malcolm X that says the most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. However, it is not acknowledged. People use it. People gain shock value from it. We love to hear it, but where does it show up in your actual actions where you understand it, right? And that's what I think that we miss when we have these conversations, and especially when we throw religion in there. So as a segue, something fun, you have been going in on the topic of the Lil Nas X video.
I'm raised in the Bible Belt. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a philosopher. I think about this stuff a lot, and I just see the tomfoolery in it. I'm sorry. And I'm petty too. I know I'm petty, and I'm really entertained and intrigued by the outrage.
Because where does it come from? I mean,
to me, it's fakeness. This is fake, man.
It's so fake. It's the fake abolitionist understanding of what it means to go to hell. It's the fake outrage from people who ain't been to church and ain't gonna go to church none except Easter Sunday. Like it is the fake, like, oh my God, they are placating this stuff to my children. Most of his fan base is young. And I love the fact that Lil Nas X is like, he's not leaving it to his fans. Lil Nas X is responding back to this shit like, it ain't my job to raise your children.
On that note, that's the reason why I've been so irritated. A lot of our brothers, sisters, gender non-conforming people in our community last month was telling the Republicans, hey, Cardi B ain't supposed to raise our kids, and this pussy is wet. A lot of those same people now is talking like Lil Nas X to daddy. You feel me? And it's like, where the energy at? So is you gonna raise your kids like you told the Republicans you're gonna raise them, or is Lil Nas X supposed to be doing it because of Old Town Road? Okay, peep game. I think you're doing it because he's a gay Black man. Because when Beyonce made her, he said, start on this demon time, I might start an OnlyFans. You recognize there was a term of art that was artistic, trying to make a metaphor. You didn't come at her about counseling her and about, hey, your kids love Beyonce too. You ain't trying to cancel Beyonce.
And let me be very clear. I'm Beehive all day, so I don't want y'all.
I'm Beehive all day too. You feel me? But I see the inconsistencies.
It's fucking clear. OnlyFans got an influx of new users after that song came out.
And what are they doing on? What is the main content being sold on OnlyFans biblically? What is the lens we should look at that? Hey, sex work is real work. I want to be clear on that. Sex work, real work. I'm for it. Hustle. You feel me? Get your thing in. I ain't gonna tell you how to make no money. I can put no money in your pocket. You feel me? But we know the inconsistencies or the contradiction is that OnlyFans is what we're doing on OnlyFans. Now we know they say that, but consciously that was the devil himself. You extrapolating like, nah. The Bible says sex out of marriage is what?
Period.
You know what I'm saying? Well, listen, man. The dance. Have you heard the lyrics of the dance? He nigga that say, kill him in my Reeboks. Rocky with a Nike G-Shock. I heard he shot. What? He said, knock his dress off. My nigga caught a body. Yeah, I called him Randy Moss. So you saying that death is less important, or you saying that satanic symbols are more important than death itself? You're buying into the religious paradigm of life and death. What happens after that? That's what you care about more, because you don't care about life itself. You care about where you go afterwards.
And my thing is, it's when we talk about the ways in which we're policing people around Christianity and religion and all of this other bullshit, and we're boycotting shoes and all of this and that, how many atheist funerals have we boycotted? Because if we're upset about people not believing, not respecting, and not loving the word and enacting the word of God, then why are we not at every funeral of somebody who said, I don't believe in God, going, it ain't no way? Why are we
That's not
allowing...
really it's about. You know, that's not really what it's about. No, that's not really what it's about. The atheists already showed they don't care about the policing.
And that's why the fake outrage bothers me. Right. That's why the fake outrage bothers me, because I think that Lil Nas X did a beautiful job of executing exactly what the fuck y'all say is going to happen. Every queer Black person, especially, but every queer person in their life has been told, you're going to bust hell wide open. You're going to hell with all of that.
Abomination, Leviticus this, and
all of these things. Right. And so Lil Nas X says, well, since this is what y'all done told me, let me give y'all a depiction of how I'm going, right? I ain't gotta go kicking and screaming. I'm gonna go on this pole and I'm gonna bust it open when I get down there and take shit over. That's what the fuck I'm gonna do, right? And it's one of those things where I feel like now y'all are upset because what we've done again as the queer community is take yet again another thing that y'all were using to make us feel bad and depict it into something that becomes less scary. And so now when you try to use that against your gay son, your gay daughter, your genderqueer children, it's not as scary no more.
Mad. And you can't psychologically fear. You can't use psychological fear to get someone to devalue their true self and their true identity. Because to me, it's saying like y'all say, to me, Lil Nas, they say this. Y'all say for me being who I am, I'm gonna go to hell. I recognize you're trying to use reverse psychology and fear and psychologically fear. You know what I'm saying? Push me out of position, right? Instead of me doing that, I'm gonna say, well, shit, I'm gonna go to hell. Now I'm gonna go to hell. I'm gonna take it over. I'm gonna seduce the devil and take it. Because to me, the hypocrisy in it is when I say lost in the sauce of symbols. Throughout every religion, the devil is bad, unless we're talking about, you know what I'm saying, you know, the actual like Satanist people, right? And they have a different understanding of what you call it. But in my mind, that's what he was getting at. But devil universally bad for the most part. You mad that he slayed the devil in the end, and you more worried about how he did it and not caring about what happened in the end result? This is the foolishness I'm talking about. He killed the devil when you mad.
But I think that really what it's really about as well, though. And I have to do this. I have to always bring color back into it, because if it would have been a little white gay boy, a little white twink boy, it would have been a moment for the community, but it would not have been this global social conversation. And the reason behind it is the same reason that we have these global conversations about Black men in fashion who end up in androgynous clothing on the same runway as white men. But you got Black people in the comments like, this is the effeminization of the Black man. But what about the 14 white guys compared to the 2 Black men that were in this show? They also have them in skirts with flowers in their hair as well, right? Like what? Like at what point do we really start to say that as Black people, we want to police the ways in which Black men are allowed to show up? Because there's a validity that we get as women from having Black men show up a certain way. And there's a validity as a Black man that you get from being able to strike fear with your presence. And I can't strike fear in you as long as I'm wearing a flower crown and a skirt.
To me, Molly, one of the conversations we had, and you was talking about like literally like this trans identity, and the idea that like dudes feel like you betrayed the X, Y, and Z. To me, I thought that's what's going on with him. It's like people, Black people, writ large, regardless of whether you being a man or gender nonconforming or whatever, you feel like he's betrayed the presence of Blackness in terms of representation. And you feel like, hey man, hey Nas, the world already tell us that we demonic. The world already tell us X, Y, and Z. And I feel like I feel like a lot of people can't really sit with that. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, I'm looking at it like, man, y'all black people are known to be that already. And it's like, I don't want to be that. Because they say that's bad. And to me, I just think that once you get outside of the realms of making it where the same people that tell me I'm full of shit, I don't care about trying to appeal to those people. And that's what I think that, to me, I think I'm from Bryan, Texas. Everybody in Bryan, Texas on my Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, they mad at me right now. But that's pretty much what it comes down to. Because it's like, you mad that you no longer can dictate how he move and how he try to appeal because he don't give a fuck about how you feel about him. And you don't know how to deal with that.
At all. Because you're so used to, but I think that's the problem, or that's the issue that a lot of bigots and trans and homo negative and queer negative people are facing, is that it ain't back in the day no more where you can call somebody a faggot and they go running home to their mama crying about it, right? Or they go back into their proverbial closet and do you the favor of making you comfortable by not being their self. Now you do some fuck shit and somebody comes to school the next day and be like, catch this crop top, bitch. You called me a faggot yesterday. What's good?
Like, they do not like that though. And that's to me, that's what I've seen though. That's why I am the way I am, is that the unapologetic nature of anything. It's like, if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Other than that, leave me alone. To me, that's what a lot of people, I think, that are just in different minority communities coming in. And I think that just the LGBT community, because I feel like cross cultural, everybody buy into a binary heteronormative cis understanding of what it means to be. So I feel like worldwide, the LGBT community feel like, to me, it's what I see. So this what I peep game in our community, and the people that we didn't been sworn enemies for forever, at least the last 4 years. Black people and like white conservatives can disagree on damn near everything, except for gay people and trans people.
Ooh.
To me, it's like, hey, once you start agreeing with the bigots, what we getting here? I believe that is the stasis of unity. I feel like if you want to have racial unity in America, it's gonna come at the expense of the LGBT community. They trying to push it on to our kids, and they trying to push it on to us, and we're the victims now. And I don't even have a choice to say this now. And that's the unity.
And they don't even see. The sad part about it is, if you stick a KKK member in with a Hotep, they will fight each other to the death until you talk about some gay shit. And
they're gonna use the same terminology, the same hubris of thinking. You feel me? The only thing the Hotep is gonna do is gonna racialize it in a way to say that because these things exist, this obviously is an attack on black people, black population, black masculinity. And it's like, man, you wilding. And I'm gonna make me feel kind of bad. Like, I feel like I've been kind of grappling in my mind of how I feel about Rizza Islam being kicked off of everything. Because on one end, it's like, okay, I see how other white people talk about depopulation and shit like that, but it's like, George, at the same time though, fam, it's still unethical depopulation, bro. You don't want to sound like the people that was talking about, well, Woody Allen get away with it, so R. Kelly should get away with it. You feel me? It's like, you don't want to sound like that, but at the same time, it's like, damn, but it's like, bro, you were saying literally the mere existence of black gay people is for depopulation. That's like, as a debate coach, that's literally you saying Hope's presence equals genocide. That's literally what you're saying. That's unethical. So it's just like, I've been trying to wrap my mind around, like, man, this is like I got some shit to work through.
Because my thing is, those things don't matter. Like, some of I want it, like, if I don't want to do nothing else in this world, I want to be a mommy so bad it hurts sometimes. Like, it's crazy that people are out here trying to say that, like, oh, queerness is, like, especially within the Black community, is, like you say, genocide. Because I know some of the most, like, I want a baby ass people that I know are queer.
Yes.
And so when we talk about the idea that it's just to stop the creation or the continuance of the Black race, I think, and this is where we continue to make things plain, is when we talk about interracial couples, what the fuck is that? Or are we having conversations about what that means for, like, true Blackness being being a genocide, right? Because if we keep promoting this idea of Black men with light skin, yellow bones, exotic bitches, and all of that shit, which we hear in every other fucking song, it is very rare that you hear the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice anymore, right? But y'all ain't talking about the real cultural genocide that takes place with what they making y'all feel is safe. Because white men are coming over here and telling y'all that this bitch Blanca is more beautiful than Bianca that you grew up with. And so now what y'all are doing is that y'all are mixing, and it ain't shit wrong with that. Let's be very clear. It's
But
not.
be very clear. We just, to me, I just see it as acknowledging the inconsistencies of saying that you're about preserving some type of racial purity, but you only have that energy towards certain instances of mixing, and you don't have that same energy. That's how I see it. To me, I see it as the LGBT people that are against the LGBT community will use things like "what about the kids" and pedophilia. You know what I'm saying? Now, okay, let's say you have a real concern about pedophilia and you always are concerned even about the potential of pedophiles. To me, it breaks down when you confront it with the R. Kelly or a Catholic priest, and all of a sudden you have these victim blaming things. You don't have that same tenacity, that same passion about stopping it. So to me, it's like, okay, you say F the LGBT community because they are potential pedophiles. But then when you're faced with a potential pedophiles, you cop a plea. Ooh. Stop weaponizing pedophilia against this community, and when you don't care about the kids, you don't care about kids. I think that's, to me, that does more of a detriment towards kids than it does for adults talking about their egos. Because if there's a kid really being abused by a pedophile, that kid doesn't have, to me, a sense of comment to say, "Hey, I'm being abused." Because once he say, "Uncle Tommy touched me," you go, "What you did? What you was doing?" "Oh no, Uncle Tommy." That's how, to me, that's how it be.
It doesn't show up in the same way, because my thing is, if you want to believe so badly that people within the LGBT community are inherently pedophilic, right, then there should be an understanding that everybody should be capable of rape, no matter who. It's not, right, is making the allegations. But that's a thing that we do come across. Whereas when Lil Tommy says that Uncle Jones touched me, because of the way that Uncle Jones shows up aesthetically, is thrown out, because there's no way that Uncle Jones can be gay. But my thing is, if by y'all standards, gay people are pedophilic, if I say that this man has touched me, which would make him gay, y'all should believe that, because inherently y'all have already told me that gay people do this. But it goes back to show you inconsistencies in the story, right?
Because the flip side is that when it is a heterosexual type of pedophilic type of way, you victim blame. It's like, it's to me, it's like a little girl says an older man touches her, did something to her. You start asking her questions. What was you wearing? What was you doing all this? So you don't really care about kids or pedophilia. You only do it to weaponize it, to try to say that this community should be obliterated and shouldn't exist, or their existence should be called into question because you think that it's ethically good to say, I care about kids. Who cares that on Monday through Friday, you like, fuck them kids. But on Saturday through Sunday, it's like, we are the children. We are the people. And it's like, nah, man. You was just getting it in blood. You feel me? It's just, to me, I don't get that, man. I don't get that.
Speaking of children, speaking of the kids, Waka Flocka and Tammy, I keep forgetting the lady last name because I want to call her Tammy
Rivera. I think it's Rivera, right?
So they're under fire with myself and a bunch of people within the queer community this week because of what I like to believe was a production stunt that was called out, right? And then Tammy, in her typical fashion, went to protect her husband from some shit that she can't protect him from because he don't want to be protected. Let's be very clear. Waka has a history of being homo and trans negative, and least we forget, so does Tammy, right? And I think that what's happened in this particular situation, and what happens in every situation that involves her husband, is Tammy inserts herself unnecessarily in these spaces to protect someone from something that they don't feel is wrong. And I think that that's that bullshit that bothers me. So for those of y'all that know the story, you've been under a rock, or you're just not a social media person, let me fill you in real quick, right? They apparently have a show, and I say apparently because I didn't know. I'm not a TV person.
I know either though.
I'm a Netflix girl. If I can't binge watch the shit, I don't want to watch it. Look, I'm a part of the popcorn generation. I will admit that. I'm sorry. And so basically, they have a show on somebody's network, and apparently their daughter is a lesbian. She identifies as a lesbian, and this has been something that was already discussed on the show. And she's about to have a quinceañera, and she wants to bring her girlfriend as her date. they have this scene set up where it's like this supposed to be this big moment because and let me be very clear. Let me even dig a little deeper into that, right? There's a whole setup for telling Waka because y'all know in the past he has said some fucked up shit about queer people, right? When you look at this segment, right, this about like 2 minute and 35-second segment, there's a whole setup between Tammy and her daughter in their confessionals that they're preparing to tell Waka because of his past with LGBT people, right? And they have this whole moment, they talking in the kitchen, the green screen, you know, confessionals are going back and forth, and then Waka enters the room and she says it, boom, I want to have my girlfriend be my person that walks me in. And to everyone's surprise who knows Waka's past, he says, oh, okay, you know, and he's doing the Kevin Hart, right? The very same thing that Kevin Hart did to Lil Nas X on that barbershop show, which was the gaslighting. It was that bullshit where you know that you were just under fire with the LGBT community. You gave your haphazard apology, took it back, gave it back again, told us how you didn't care about it for real, da 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 da. And then Lil Nas X and you end up in the same room, and you have the nerve to sit up there and say, I don't know why it's a big deal. Bitch, you just was one of the people that was making it. Okay, all right, cool. And Waka does the same thing in this space where you knew
it's nonchalant, huh? It's nonchalant, like
nonchalant.
Okay.
But you knew what was expected of you. You knew that it was expected that you were going to have something to say. The producers had already coached you through this. Y'all had already had this moment as a family where you already had said the problematic shit behind the scenes. And now you worked your way through it. Tammy done sucked your dick and fucked you behind the scenes. And so now you feeling good about being able to come on camera and say, I don't care, whatever. And you expected the LGBT community to buy that bullshit. And when we didn't, and we called into question the idea that not only does that not change your past, but also we know that there's nuance to this situation. In the Black community, Black men have often never had an issue with lesbian women, and especially ones that maintain their femininity. Right. And so when we're looking at your daughter who is maintaining her femininity while also claiming lesbianism, we know that it's very, very rare that a Black man is gonna be like, oh, lesbians, da 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 da, because there's this sexual fantasy and idea in a lot of Black men's mind that one, it's either a phase, or two, she just ain't have the right penis yet. And so a lot of Black fathers don't mind the idea of lesbianism because they feel like eventually one of these days, one of these little boys is gonna get her hemmed up and she's gonna see the light. And when that was called out by a popular social media star, Tammy decided that she wanted to address it, and then I addressed her.
Hold on, so Zoe the one that brought it out like that?
Zoe made a video, but my thing, let's be very clear. Zoe did not make this video with any malicious intent, I don't think. I think that Zoe was just saying as a Black
perplexed. I thought he was perplexed, like, hey man.
Right. Because don't get on television acting like this ain't no big deal when we all know that you're the same man that literally went on a rant on Instagram because another man told you that you looked fresh.
I was thinking like, man, you went off about saying that it's disrespectful for another man to tell you that you're attractive or this, that, and the other. And I was like,
but let's be very clear. Waka said, and I quote, this ain't what people are assuming. Waka said that what the young man said to him was, hey, bro, you looking fresh today. This young man not
that's it. I ain't realize it. I thought he was like really saying you fine. But I thought there's no issue with it though. I ain't know he's like, bro, nigga say, bro, that's fresh. That's dope. That's
clip. I watched this clip, y'all. You could go watch the clip. Gay Magazine has the clip up, right? In the clip, Waka says, you're not supposed to talk to another man like that, like you think that he's attractive, right? That's his inference. But what Waka admits that the man said to him was, bro, you looking fresh today. That sets you off. A man coming up to you and saying that but my thing is, what I believe was, it wasn't the man. It was the type of man that you knew he was or perceived him to be that made you feel away.
Yeah.
Whoever he was, his identity must have been on him.
on him one way or another. It was performativity of something that you weren't trying to be in
Something that you
proximity
weren't
to.
okay with.
So you want to distance yourself from it as clear as possible. That's really what we in our community is what it come down to. I feel like a lot of us are conditioned to distance ourselves from anything that would bring us more heat. So if I recognize being gay gives heat, I think that me being in any proximity to gayness or to a gay person is gonna make it where I receive more heat. I'm gonna distance myself from it. And to me, I think that's the psyche of it. It's like you don't want to get caught up in it. To me, I think when dudes want to be like the super straight stuff, to me it's like I care about trans women, but it's like
What? What?
Because to me, the inconsistency is like when a black man says he does not date black women, you understand what is implicated there, and you have an issue with that because you recognize there's something that is just not good about this.
Ooh.
Some reason though, you suspend that logic and you was able to say this trans women, I ain't doing it. It's like, so hold on, you think there's an issue with the black man saying they don't date black women, only date white women or non-black women, and you see the problematic in that. How don't you see the problematic in I don't date trans women, but a trans woman gotta tell me she trans. If you tell me she trans, I might kick her ass, I might kill her. She'll figure it out what you tell me. It's like
It's all bullshit. And then the idea that when you say things like, are people not allowed to change? Of course they are. But that doesn't mean that people have to accept. My thing is, people are allowed to apologize for whatever they want to apologize for. That don't mean I got to accept it.
hey, are people allowed to change? Are people allowed to accept what they want to accept? Both of those things are true.
Both things are true.
And I'm be real. I feel like my little heterosexual lens, I didn't know all of that back stuff with Waka Flocka. So when I first seen it, I'm thinking like, man, shout out to Waka, finally growing, being able. I knew he said some stuff, but I'm thinking like, I didn't know it was as deep as I found out these past 2 days. Because to me, it's the same thing of a white person is caught saying nigga and saying a whole bunch of foul shit about black people. And instead of them, you feel me, they can apologize. And it's up for us to be like, man, I don't take that apology or not. Or they'll be like, I'm finna just try to show that I do care about black people and act like what I did didn't happen and I gotta apologize for it. Both of these things, black people will be like, nah, I don't care what you did. I don't give a damn how much you apologize. You say, what, so?
Because we still ain't forgive Jeffree Star.
Off the rip. I don't give a damn what it. Off the rip. You can't use black people as a little fungible object to be what you want to build. And nah, man.
We still haven't forgiven him for that. But my thing is, when we see people prepare, at least Jeffree tries to cake up black people in his ads. At least Jeffree does the most to try to make sure we see him with black people, right? But when we talk about Waka, you can't be somebody that openly spews rhetoric that is not only just negative, but Waka is out here on some like, I really don't fuck with y'all niggas. Like, I really don't fuck with y'all.
And he's unapologetic about it. Like,
and he's very unapologetic. Like, and this ain't old shit, Tammy. This is like, you made your video defending this nigga, and then in the other room, it was like that nigga went into the bathroom and was like, nah, fuck what she said. I said what the fuck I said. And it's just kind of like, and to continuously see you defend him on some bullshit when we already know his character. We know his outside of LGBT issues. We know his character as a man. He done cheated on you, 90 Going North on several different television shows, and you're okay with that. And it's fine if you're okay with being given a new Birkin bag as an apology and accepting that shit and being okay being his wife. But that doesn't mean that the queer...
We all got to. Yeah, we all got to be having the same orientation that you have. I just think that it's just with the Waka Flocka situation. I think that I feel like to my fellow people that's not a part of the LGBT community like me, I feel like the Waka Flocka shit, it's time for us to like sit back, shut up, and just pay attention to what's going on to try to learn. Cause you know what I'm saying? That's what I've been doing. I think that's one of the best things to do in these instances is that be able to me, wisdom is about being able to acknowledge your extent to knowledge. And I think that us as like straight people, cisgender people have to be, you know what I'm saying? More straight, you feel me? Like just us straight people need to be thinking about what it means to recognize the limits to what we know. Because the reason why I say research over me search is because a lot of people will have these intuitive things that's based off of their own experiences, and it's literally you search some shit inside of you, and you came with these grand old universal claims. You ain't never did that. To me, it's the time when you research over me search, because I think Waka Flocka could have got ahead of a lot of this if he knew what was going. To me, even him being an asshole, him trying to be a bigot, if he was more strategic, more smart in how he, I ain't saying smart, more intellectual with how he thinking about it. You feel me? I feel like it'd be a little different. But to me, it's like he don't care. Because in my instance, we saying about Jeffree Star at least recognizes that he needs to make an effort to at least show that I can be around Black people.
Right.
I think that the flip side of it, going back to what I was saying about cross-cultural LGBTQ being like, fuck that. The day that cis straight people try to go out of their way to be around people in the LGBT community to prove something, I know it's like performative activism, but I feel like that's right now. I don't see that being a thing. It's like Waka Flocka. Like I don't care what you people think about me.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's the Robin of the humanity that I see. That's like literally cross cultural. Like you feel me? Like what Black, Latino, Native. You know what I'm saying? You trans, you're a freak, not a human being. You have no more humanity, and your ability to assert your autonomy is dead. It's gone. And that's what I feel like they, you know what I'm saying, they be on. And I think that's the reason why I'm having, that's the reason why I feel like I'm just, okay. Because when I seen Zoe's video, I was thinking like, oh, snap, I'm damn near eating popcorn, reading the comment section. I'm thinking like, whoa, I've learned so much.
At the end of the day, if my particular apology don't come with a Birkin bag, save it.
Straight up, man.
I don't have energy anymore for these rappers and these Black male entertainers that, you know, pacify their immediate people with these gifts and then y'all forgive them for bullshit. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, man, ain't type of nigga I am either. I lost some followers yesterday, but I told them, you feel me? I'm an acquired taste. I'm like beer or wine, you feel me? I ain't for everybody. I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. I'm not for everybody, you feel me? It's a reason why when you go from kindergarten to college, there's multiple teachers that teach the same subject because everybody teach different, everybody learn different. You're not gonna hurt my feelings unfollowing me. You're not gonna hurt my, I stand on what I stand on, and because I stand on it, that's what I'm gonna take for standing that way. You feel me? Like I don't, that's really how I come. That's really how I am. You can take me or leave me. I'm gonna be me regardless though. And that's what I recognize that a lot of people have a hard time with doing. You want to always make yourself adaptable. You are always willing to put a little more water, put a little bit more sugar, put a little bit more salt to make it where you can be stomached. You feel me? I'm not made to be digested by everybody. You feel me? It's like, it is what it is, man. And what I see is that most black men that have that thing, we always worried about being consumable by certain people, and other people we don't give a damn how we consume by them. And I think that's one of the issues with the problems of the world we live in now. That's the status quo. We got to get away from the status quo to make something better. And I think the status quo is being like, hey, I think that most of my followers is straight men, and I think that if I did that, they would alienate my straight male followers. Those are the followers I really care about because I get a sense of self and my ego from other men validate me and affirming me. So I ain't gonna do nothing to alienate them. Nah, hell no. I'm from the South, from Texas. I got a whole bunch of people that love me, this, that, and the other. But I know I start talking about that Bible, talking about this date, Satan, and what? So I think you are a smart person still, but I'm gonna unfollow you respectfully. This shit, unfollow respectfully. Do what you good. Education, elevation, holler at you.
Do what you gotta do.
Do what you gotta do. Protect your peace. Don't let me come to steal your peace. Cause I ain't gonna let you steal mine. So protect your peace. If you feel like unfollowing me, the thing you need to do to make it where you keep your sanity and do that. But I'm not finna, you feel me? That's not how I'm building my brand. That's not how I'm trying to do it. You feel me? I got ethics. You know what I'm saying? And my ethics ain't really got no monetization on certain shit. I ain't gonna bend, break a fold on. I don't give a damn what you giving me, what you trying to take from me. Take it or give it. That's what that is. And I just think that more of our community need to be able to be like that.
I feel the same way. I think that I've built a platform on being honest about the way that I feel, and not everybody is going to receive that. There's a lot of Black trans women that don't and that comes out of my mouth because I'm not a Black trans woman that's going to sit up here and tell you that cis women are evil. It's not, that's not.
Yeah, it's like, it's not my thing.
That's not my thing, and it's okay if that doesn't suit you. But there are so many trans women that are doing the work that you can go follow. So it's no skin off of my back when you say, you know what, Hope, you're not for me, right?
That's fine. Maybe there's somebody out there for you.
that there's somebody. But over here, we're gonna have real conversations. We're gonna have honest, dialogue, and we're gonna make it plain. And
It's
with
really if you can't sit with being uncomfortable from a like a spiritual, mental, intellectual like perspective, I'm probably not the person for you. Cause like I literally think about how can I be thought provoking, and it's usually centered around comfort zones and how power is sustained in comfort zones, whether it's sex, gender, class, ability. I'm always thinking consciously about how comfort zones are sustained, and they're usually sustained by having normalized problematic shit that make it say we have to always already make sure those people over there are comfortable. So I know as a straight black man, I'm conditioned, taught. Hey George, if you start saying or doing anything that make your fellow man uncomfortable, back off. If you start to do or say anything to make white people feel uncomfortable, back off. I ain't doing that no more.
And we shouldn't have to.
Hell no. I got to be uncomfortable and how I think. Shit, welcome to the club. That's what
Well,
you out. That what you're mad? You mad about being uncomfortable? Shit, I wake up being uncomfortable every day. You see how I think and how I speak? I can only imagine being Hope or being somebody else to even have to what? I'm uncomfortable every day, every
no,
second of the day. So you think your comfort matters more than mine? Fuck you.
absolutely,
Like,
absolutely not. Like it doesn't.
you're making
So
me uncomfortable. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to go. I'm just a little uncomfortable. With that being said, y'all, thank you so much, Lee, for popping through. I always appreciate a good conversation with you. I know that all of y'all always appreciate a good conversation with Lee and I, especially when y'all can catch him. We do them seldomly, but we actually have something special for y'all coming your way, which is a limited series podcast between Lee and myself called Make It Plain. We're trying to come up with how many episodes we want to give y'all, somewhere between like 6 and 10. Y'all can't get too much out of us, but we'll see what we want to do and what we can do for y'all after that series is over. And this is just going to be something that we do where we come together and we show solidarity between the two communities. And we also show that people can agree to disagree and have different lives and different interests and still be able to have conversations that mesh well. We both have our own sort of things going on. And so y'all gonna have to respectfully give us some time to pull this together. But Make It Plain is coming. And this is the beginning of that. We want to introduce it to y'all. It is coming. It's on the way. We hope that y'all like it.
And just let me apologize because it's on my mind right now. I was trying to say like transparency, and I was like straight talk, and I feel like I should have said keep it plain. And I'm trying to work on my language and my colloquials and how certain shit embedded in my language. And I feel like it was like a Freudian slip of me being heteronormative type shit. But I want to apologize. I ain't mean nothing about that. I'm sorry. You feel me? Like I wasn't trying to. I feel like I was just talking, and I just said straight talking. It's like nigga, what that mean? I apologize. Like I'm just mindful of I said it, and I was like it can't. When I said it, I was thinking like, ugh, I didn't even think they came out how I want to come out. So yeah, I'm gonna start saying plain talk instead of straight talk.
Look, I respect it, but I be so in a whole like I know somebody in their car listening to this, like, oh really? But there is somebody.
I know somebody will come for me. You know, Hope. They'll come for me.
Somebody caught it, and it was like, oh, okay.
So the person that caught it, I'm apologizing. You feel me? That was a heteronormative slip of me just using language that's not accessible, that I don't endorse, that I'm being conscious and mindful of. I'm gonna try to say plain talk instead of straight talk because I recognize that can alienate some people, and I ain't trying to alienate nobody, especially nobody that'll be alienated by me saying straight talk. You feel me? So I just want to explicitly apologize for that because I learned how the internet works, man.
Look here, accountability.
And it was wrong too. I think that I should speak better. I think I've been blessed with a gift of gab. I should be able to use my words better.
We all should. I think that what's even more important than like speaking well is acknowledging when you have misspoken, right? Like I think that too. So, it just
plain talk. Everybody gonna say plain talk now. Let's say plain talk, transparent. You feel me? I think that's like a little, yeah. I'm gonna think about it though.
With that being said, y'all know where to find Consciously. Y'all know where to find me. And until next time, peace, love, and hope. And I will see y'all next week on Can We Talk. Bye, everybody.